Hey Collective, it's Ron again over at Becoming Enlightened Together. So I'm doing a second reading, and I just love it when things come together. You know, it looks like this time, in a very peculiar yet obviously touched by spirit kind of way, where this time we're looking at again journeys. But we're not talking about journeys in regards to the collective in this case. Now we're talking about journeying, long journeys. We're talking about from the perspective of those who have endured so much for so long to finally get to the point where we're right there at the finish line. But this is also talking about the end of a long reign for the karmics. They've had their time in the sun, so to speak. Well, they spent most of their time in the shadows, in the dark, late at night, and things like that, doing things that they don't want anybody else to know about, of course. But those things are being revealed. So this is a very, very long journey for them because it's all coming to a head, and very soon all of their secrets are about to be revealed. Okay. So another thing about this, it talks about them wanting change right now, because like I said, they're already going through their karma and so on. They're feeling restless and restrained, perhaps. They're being hasty in many of their moves. They are definitely in a state of mistrust. They can't be trusted themselves, but they're also not trusting those around them right now. There's a lot of disharmony in their group, in their family, in their whatever circumstance they're in. And there's been some major betrayal as well. Now, this is not just the past energy or the overall weekly energy, but we see this echoed again in terms of both the present, the past energy, the energy that I pulled for today, last Sunday, happens to be, again, just like the last reading I did, the actual future of this particular reading, this energy. Okay, so for the karmics, in this particular case, your long journey is not over. It's about to get a little bit harder for you. So it's going to come on suddenly. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the overall energy, which again is Othala in the reverse, which talks about recklessness, talks about frustrations and legal problems and hassles of every type, talks about a lack of order in one's life situation and so on. It talks about totalitarianism of some type, slavery, prejudice, clannishness. Talks about homelessness and poverty, just bad karma in general. Okay, so this whole week, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the plight of the karmics, not just our own ascension, but their fall. And how great is that fall, right? You say that pride always comes right before the fall. Well, many of these people have been living very vainglorious and very prideful lives, and they are about to be humbled in a very, very mighty way. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, the past energy we have is Ewas. Now, Ewas is in the reverse. It typically looks like an M. Now it looks like a W. Okay, it's actually the letter E in their alphabet, as strange as that may sound. Now, that particular rune is not just for the past energy, the one I pulled last Sunday for today, but it's actually the present energy for today. So that's a second reading in a row where that's happened. That's pretty, statistically speaking, that doesn't happen very often at all. So it's obviously a message that we're trying to convey to the karmics to let them know their time is up. Okay, they waited too long to make changes. They didn't listen to any of their ancestors or the Most High, the Spirit. They didn't listen to anything. They decided to keep on doing what they were doing it secretly and harming whoever they wanted for their own, self-grandizement, however that looks. What it means is long journeys. All like I've already stated. Perhaps a sudden and unexpected change, and I'm sure they're, if not already experiencing that, they will be very, very soon. They are feeling reckless. They're also feeling restless. They're feeling confined. Again, disharmony, betrayal, mistrust, all of it across the board. They have nobody in which, to really lean on. The people that they've traditionally hung out with were just their accomplices. They're just as nasty and negative in every level as, the other people. So, I mean, they're all pretty nasty, okay? Karmics and their third parties. Alright, now the present energy is that of Nauthis. Now, Nauthis also is in the reverse. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's hard to see. It looks like a cross with the cross beam slightly canted down, as you can see. Okay. Now, what that means is basically somebody chose to go in the wrong direction. Okay. Somebody who's extremely possessive. Somebody who is either experiencing or is they themselves producing some type of inappropriate constraint of someone's freedom. We're talking about their feeling as though they are in distress. They are toiling. They feel they're in a sense of drudgery. Their necessities are not being met. They're feeling extremes at this point. Extreme anger, extreme frustration, extreme exhaustion, lust, every imaginable emotion, they're feeling it into the extreme. And yet they are in want at this time. They are suffering deprivation. Sometimes, and for some of them, not just poverty, but also starvation, perhaps. I hope that's not the case. But these things that they are suffering are the very things that they wanted for you or others. So I'm not saying to relish the fact that they are getting their just rewards, but the universe, more so than any human court of law or whatever, truly seeks justice or balance in this universe. And for some of these people, it's been a long, long time coming. So, for what it's worth. All right, so that's the present energy for many of these karmics right now. Now, as far as the obstacles and challenges go for them, it would be Wunyo. Now, Wunyo in the upright is a very positive rune, okay? It talks about things regarding the wind, and anything wind-related is like the intellect, so to speak, when we're talking about divination, like with tarot and so on. And air, okay? Now, it also talks about harmony, joy, blessings, bliss, desire, pleasure, fellowship, prosperity, ecstasy, glory, spiritual rewards, success, and the recognition of one's worth. Now, why would that be under obstacles and challenges? Well, it's not obstacles and challenges necessarily for the collective, although it could be if it gets to your head and you forget your place and everything that you had to go through to get to this point, and you become just like they had. Misuse your power, your authority, and the gifts that you have been given from the Most High. But this is really talking to those who, in fact, have done exactly that. They've abused their gifts. They've used it for their own self-grandizement, for their own advancement. They were very, very greedy, selfish, and even more, far worse. Now, as far as our help and advice goes, we have Laguz. And Laguz in the upright, again, this one deals with water. And anything water-related deals with emotions. But in terms of water, it talks about, creeks, rivers, streams, lakes, oceans, leaks of moist water, or, the flow of water. And, of course, related to that is emotional content of someone. So emotions are a big part of this room in the upright. So your help and advice is basically to trust and listen to your intuition. to your dreams, to those intuitive hits that you pick up or coincidences that you see, whether it's bulletin boards or license plates or songs or, just somebody saying something to you out of the blue. It could be done in many different ways, and it's done differently for everybody. However Spirit talks to you, we're basically to really hone in and focus on that and listen to what we're being told, okay? So it does talk about psychic abilities. It talks about the divine feminine or psychic feminine. It talks about both success in acquisition and, again, success in travel. So we see the positive aspects of this for the collective, once again, who are going to be traveling soon, and the karmics who have had a very long journey as well, riding the hog for a very long time, getting more than their share, and they're about to be brought down to their knees. And we see that in terms of future outcome, which, again, just like our past energy, is that of Ewas. And Ewas, again, in the reverse. Not only is it the same rune, but it's also in the same position, either upright or, in this case, reversed. So again, what Ewas for the future outcome is, talks about sudden unexpected changes, talks about very long journeys, talks about feeling restless, confined, reckless haste, not trusting anybody in your energy or being trusted by anybody in your energy. There's complete disharmony in your unit, and a sense of betrayal. You were betrayed. You probably betrayed many other people along the way. According to this, it's definitely something you have done. So if you want to play victim, that's up to you. And I'm not, really trying to talk down to you or anything like that. I really don't mean to do that anyways. I'm just trying to be as forthcoming and accurate and honest with what I'm seeing here as I possibly can. But we see hassles of every type, at least 3 different types. Poverty twice. We see that disharmony and long journeys twice. We see moving in the wrong direction twice. Being betrayed twice. So it's not looking good for the karmics who have been in our life. Some of these karmics are coming back, trying to make amends with you. And you'll have to make a determination whether that's something that you want to do or not. And for some of you, you may elect to do that. For many of you, you may not. It's going to be different for each and every one of you out there. I just hope that you will take your time with this. There's no need to rush into anything, okay? No matter how much that you wanted this person at one time or whatever, hopefully you have learned enough over the course of time in their absence that they are not the person that you thought they were, or they are not the people that you thought they were. This could be more than one person. But definitely there are other people involved with the karmic themselves. So that could be third parties. And again, third parties can be, yes, a lover, somebody you knew nothing about. They could actually be in a relationship, even married to somebody else and never have told you. All these things are possibilities. But it could also be a job. It could be a family member or a friend. Anything that really has a way of getting between you and them. So it could also be a parent, sibling, it could be a number of things, okay? But oftentimes it does happen to do with, somebody that you either wanted to be or was romantic with at some time, okay? So just keep that in mind, and that pretty much concludes this reading as well. So it's not negative in the classical sense that we're all more or less rewarded for whatever it is that we do, both good or bad. That's karma, okay? And in this case, the wheel is finally starting to change. So those of us who have been enduring, the greatest of hardships for years and years and years, it looks like we're finally going to get some rest. That doesn't mean there's never going to be hard times, but you've been through a lot of them, so it's not going to be nearly as hard as it once was. In fact, life is going to be far more rewarding, and I'm certainly hoping for that after everything. I'm still in the process of going through some pretty difficult situations personally, so I'm hoping that clears up here soon. And for any of you out there that's still going through that at this time, and everybody's timeline is different in this. It's not linear, okay? We're all at different points. So, and we may have had much longer journeys in some cases, some of us than others. And that's okay. That's just, what we're here to basically do. That's what we contracted ourselves to do. That's what some believe. And I can say that's certainly a possibility. Okay? And with that being said, as always, I wish you guys the very best. Stay victorious out there and patient. Okay? Be patient in this time. Don't rush anything. Think about and pray about, meditate on whatever moves you decide to make, especially in regards to these people that are trying to come back into your life. Okay? I'm not telling you not to do it. You have to trust your own instincts in this. I'm just saying be careful. I have to do the same. Okay? So everybody has the right, to change if that's truly what they are trying to initiate. They are trying to make their life a better life. And it's not just, a reaction to what's going on in their life now, their exposure and all the other things that are happening to them. Then you might want to consider giving them a second chance, or at least forgiving them and, providing whatever it is that you feel obliged to do so. Okay, whether it's some form of comfort or telling them to basically go kick rocks, that's up to each and every one of us. So I know that you'll make the right decision. That's why you are the collective after all. So until tomorrow, take care, God bless, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.